Alright, the first thing I've got to do is take off my old rest. That should be rather straightforward. I do have this string under tension, so I have to be cautious here. So I'm just going to do a real loose, oops, wrong way. And we're just going to take this off. Take the string off. There we are. It will slide out after that. Okay. All right. That's good. There we go. That's a trick. Just get a little WD-40 in there and get it on out. That'll make it easier. I can use the right tool. Okay. There we go. Got it off. So that's the old SmackDown Pro. I'm sure you've seen it. SmackDown Pro. They're pretty popular. They do work. I just had some minor challenges with this one. Really not too bad, but just some minor challenges. So anyway, next I'm gonna put the other, clean that off. I'm going to clean this up and then I'll put the other rest on. Now I have my bow level tested by the string. I've got a string level on it. Let's install this fancy little rest, arrow rest. So the instructions tell you to put the felt on first. You can if you want to. I'm not going to. I'm going to wait to make sure that my arrows don't slap and all that good stuff, because you get one felt. So I'm going to put that on after. But you're going to take this Allen head screw. Okay, it's got a little washer. You put it down in the channel. You put it on the hole on your riser. Okay, and you have a 3/16 Allen wrench. You're going to just put that in there and just get it down. I'm going to get it a little bit snug so that I can validate leveling, and then I don't have much of an overdraw need, so I'll check the level. Okay, snug. All right. Pretty close. Checking the level. It's really, all I gotta do is really get it close. Okay, that's pretty doggone close, and I'm gonna put another turn on it, get a little tighter. Okay, don't over tighten it. You want it nice and snug, but man, you don't want to mess up that aluminum riser. You don't want to mess up any of your stuff here, so you just get it really good and snug. Okay, that's really good and snug. All right, third time's a charm. Okay, that is snug. Pretty doggone level. When you're done, you can put this little QAD cover over. Really nice, conceals up the screw there. So now we're going to put on the cable. This cable will trigger or pull the arm to pull it up and lock your arrow end at 80 degrees, and then at 90 but normally you could tie it on and then serve it on your string, but I'm going to show you how they send a little component that I don't know if you can see, it's kind of small, and you just put that on your downward cable and then, yeah, lock it up. And then I'll show you how to do that real quick. Okay, so now we're going to put this little device on the cable, and it goes in with a little, it's got a little screw with a nut, a little tiny nut. So yes, don't lose that, or you'll have to go to the department store and get you a new one. So you put that on the downward part of your cable, and it generally has to go 3 inches below the current, or 3 inches below the rest is where they suggest doing it. All right, so let's, the quickest thing is, I forgot, you probably need to get that screw started in that hole there. You can push it out because it's kind of stiff to put it in and out of there. And then you can put it on your string, and you want to put it on the downward, like I said earlier, the downward cable. You want to put it on the downward cable, and then about 3 inches below your rest. You can go further, but they suggest about 3 inches. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so that's kind of on there. It still allows me, because I've got to thread this cable down through that, and it might be a little bit too tight. Loosen it up a little bit. Yeah, so I can put that through this little hole. You go from the top down, just like that. See that? And then you want to put it in the location. So like me, I have a Hoyt Defiant, and if I put it up here, it's going to hit my riser, but I can go down a little further, and then it's away from that. So that will be, you know, right there next to it. That's a good spot for me. I could probably even go lower if I wanted. It gives me plenty of room. Okay, but I can just try it right in here, somewhere like that. There. And now I'm going to tighten it down a little bit snug. And you want to pull it tight enough to put your, you want it tight enough to pull your to be up at 90 degrees, but not too tight, because you're going to have to go through an adjustment, a timing adjustment. So we're going to just do this right there. Okay, that's snug, but it's not all the way. See, it'll still slide, and that's kind of what I want it to do. And you'll see why I want to tighten it a little bit more. If I can do it with my left here. Not too much. Takes a couple minutes. Okay. That's there. Sorry. Okay. All right. So it's in the 90 degree. That's what we want. Cable is kind of snug. It still can move if I wanted to, and you'll see why when you time it. Yep. Okay. Now what you need to do is draw your bow back, and when you do that, when you draw your bow back, the clamp that you put on here will slide down. Okay, and that's kind of what I want to do. But whenever I draw my bow back, I make sure I have a arrow on my bow, just in case of a misfire. Okay, so I'm just going to pull it back here real quick. And the cable should slide, and it does. Okay, and that's going to mark it where I need it to be. Okay, I'm going to let it back down. Now I can put that down. I can tighten it. Okay, I'm going to tighten it here. Okay, that's pretty tight. I'm going to put one more snug turn in. And then I might even later come back and put some serving around right here so that it doesn't slide up and down. Okay, let's try it again. Let's see if it... Okay, it's up at 90. That's pretty doggone good. And then I can let it down. And it stays, like they say, it stays up. And to get it to go down, you just push on that and pop it, and it drops the arrow rest. So that's all you have to it. Install this. Pretty simple. Okay, let's move on. Let's adjust it. I'm going to make sure that it's right for my my arrows. So I'm going to tune it now. Let's do that. To 90 at the last inch or so, maybe a little bit more, maybe an inch and a half, so that it goes up to 90. You don't want that cable too tight onto your bow cable. But anyway, so now I'm gonna adjust this a little bit. So there's these little hex screws. You just loosen them up. Okay, and you can see, and then there's a knob here that I can go up and down with. And I just make sure that I have a center point. I use some tools because I have a little knock point already, because this bow I've shot before, so I know where that knock point is. And then I want to make sure that I'm level all the way across, and then I'll fine tune it after. I'll do some paper tuning and shoot it. So I've got a little level here that I install on my arrow. Okay, and then I'll move this to 90 degrees. So I'll just lock it up, and then I can actually pull it. So that kind of tells me I need to go down a little bit. So micro adjust. And what it'll take is me shooting it in the field as well. So that's pretty level for me there. So I'm going to let that down. Tighten it up just a little bit, not too tight. Okay, there we go. It's still pretty doggone straight. Good. Okay, so then I know the center point that I need to shoot. Okay, I'm just going to snug that up. And then this one right here, this little knob, it's a micro adjust. It's really fine. I mean it's you could tell it's super fine. But I adjusted it with my sight and my center point on my rest. So I think now I'm pretty good. I can go and do some test shots. I'll just go to about 4 yards or so, but that's it. You can adjust these a little bit so you can snug them. Good. Okay. Time to go shoot. I'm gonna go try it out. Okay, so I just sent about a dozen arrows down range, 10 yards, 20 yards, 30 yards, 40 yards, and then actually a couple at 50 yards with this new rest after setting it up. It works out great. It's a step up. I could tell from my smackdown, my trophy taker smackdown, the fine tuning I can do on this up and down, you know, vertical and the horizontal plane. It's quiet, it's light. I really like it so far. I'll have to shoot it a lot more. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you got some good information here. Like the channel, subscribe, and then go check out our website, Eagle Cap Outdoors. Thanks for watching.